Alright, hello, my name is Cory Miller. Originally today I was going to talk about how to play the game of blackjack and the tips on how to play the game, but instead I was informed that I needed to save my topic for our demonstration speech, so that will be for later in this semester. So today I'm going to talk about what it's like to be a blackjack dealer, and talk about how when we first get to work, some procedures and rules that we have to follow, and closing the tables at the end of the night. For my first main point, I'm going to talk about when dealers first get to work. When they first get to work, they have to approach the pit boss and ask them where they need to go. This could either be them having to go fill in for a person that is done with their shift, so you'd have to take their place, or you have to open a new table. In the case of opening a new table, you would have to the pit boss will have to notify the surveillance cameras to notify them that the table is going to be opened, and then the pit boss will then come over to the table and unlock the safe underneath the table and pull out the deck of cards that you need to sort through. After that, he's going to unlock the tray where the money is placed, all the chips and all the money. And then once that is unlocked, then the dealer cannot move from his position. So they are stuck right here. They cannot move, cannot turn, they cannot look anywhere back. They're faced right here, can only surround their tray. So once the cards are out, the dealer must then open them. Well, this doesn't have casing, so you'd have to open them. Then once they're open, there are 4 things that you have to mark on each one. One is the table number, the date, the time, and you have to put your signature on all of the decks, no matter how many there are. After that is complete, you take out the cards, you remove the jacks or the jokers from each one, put them down, and then you will go, how I like to do it is I like to go halfway through the deck so I get exactly half the deck. Then this table is not very good at spreading, so as you can see. So you spread them out like that, and then you have to go through one by one, like this, as fast as you can. And then after that's all done, you will take them, put them back, and go through the back side one by one as fast as you can. This is to make sure that there are no damages left on the cards, so that there's nothing's affected while playing the game, so no players can tell cards from one another. If there does happen to be a damage to the card, you have to notify the floor immediately, and the floor will come and look at the card, go get a new card from one of their new decks, replace it, and then we'll both have to sign with our name and our gaming license, and then they will go and put that into their bag of cards that are already damaged. So after that is all said and done, you go through all the decks. At my work there's usually 12 decks, so we will put them all together and then spread them out. And then after that, you pretty much sit and wait for a player to come. Usually for rotations that dealers are on, they're on a table for 30 minutes at a time, and then there's the longest time you'll be on a table is about 30 minutes. So the longest time you'll be on a table is 4 times. So 2 hours, and then you get a 30-minute break. Usually for a dealer, you get 4 30-minute breaks a shift, which is pretty nice. So we talked about opening the card decks and opening the table and what happens when dealers go to work. Next, we're going to talk about procedures that dealers have to go through when they're dealing, anytime they're on a table, and what they have to worry about. So the main thing that I was warned about when I first got the job is always clear your hands. People always need to do this. I do it even when I'm not at work because I'm constantly doing it at work. So Anytime I touch something, I have to clear my hands, grab something, put it down, clear my hands. Anytime money is touched, clear my hands. Money especially. Money is the most important thing. Even with money, you're not allowed to pass money from hand to hand. I'm not allowed to accept money from people's hands. I have to have them put it on the table, and I have to grab it and take it and put it on the table and then grab the money. And while I'm doing all that, I have to clear my hands. Another thing besides all the procedures is that I have to notice the players and mistakes they make. One of the main rules is that there's no food or phones at the table. Period. Like, I don't know. I never understood the rule about food, because you're allowed to have red wine at the table, but you're not allowed to have food because it's going to be messy. But if you spill red wine, it just ruins the felt. So I never understood the rule, but it's their rule, so I have to follow it. When people are too drunk, it's actually against Colorado state law that you're allowed to be drunk on a casino floor. So anytime we notice that somebody's intoxicated, we have to escort them out immediately. And so if there is a mistake that is made ever on a table, I have to notify the floor immediately, because if I do not, then I will have risk of getting terminated or just have a lot of write-ups and get in a lot of trouble. So that's no good. So we talked about a lot of the procedures that I have to go through, and then my last and final point is closing tables. So closing tables is pretty much the same as when you open the table, except the opposite. You have to count the money that's in the tray. So you notify the floor, also notifies surveillance again that we're going to close the table, and then we have to the floor comes over, and then we have to count all the money that's in the tray, and we have to both verify that it's the same amount, that each of us have the same amount of money on there, and then we both sign and put our gaming numbers. And then after that is said and done with, the pit boss closes the tray and locks it, and then I am free to sort all the cards. When I sort all the cards, I pretty much take the cards, and they have to go back in the exact order that they were originally in. So it starts out with heart. You have to sort them in the same suits. So you start out with hearts, then you go clubs, spades, and then clubs, diamonds, then spades. So you go Alright, so you start out with the order as shown. It has the spades, clubs, or diamonds, clubs, and hearts. Then after that, once they're all in the same order, you spread them out like how you started, and then you just sort them in. Hearts and clubs start going with ace through king, then diamonds and spades go king through ace. Once that is done, you put all the cards together, then put them right back into the deck, and they should be in the same exact order. One thing that I would warn people that want to be dealers is that to never leave the decks on the table unattended, because if you leave them unattended, somebody could walk up, grab the cards, and take them, then you are accountable for the cards, and that is not very good. So that concludes my speech. I hope that I gave you guys enough information to know what blackjack dealers have to deal with. A lot of people ask me if the game is rigged. It's not, obviously. We have to go through every single card. We mix it up randomly. We put everything in a shuffler. Like, we have no control over it. So if you think it's rigged, then don't go up to the casino. All right, and that is my speech. Thank you so much for listening.